I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the Temple of the Owl. Merry meet, seekers of knowledge, for I am Matt's Owl, your host, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Send you guys some good vibes, positivity your way if you need it. Here at the Temple of the Owl, located deep in the forests of Northern California. In this episode, we will discuss some Astrology 101 and the 13th Zodiac. This is where we talk about magic and spirituality on all levels, but it's through the perspective of a modern witch. As always, these are just ideas to help you live a magical life and think about things differently. Take the information and do what you want with it. Thank you guys for listening on the YouTube and the Spotify. And we got templeoftheowl.com where you can listen to all my episodes. Special thank you to those listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And these shows are always dedicated to the seekers of knowledge, dedicated to my friends over there at Troubled Minds, and just talking about things, just giving nice some ideas, and having just different conversations. I like to start the show with what I call the MOD, or the message of the day. It's a quote I find that helps me explain the show topic. And today's quote is, we're talking about astrology, some Astrology 101 for people that maybe don't know a little bit about astrology. And I had these two quotes that are pretty funny. The first one is this quote: I don't believe in astrology. I'm a Sagittarius, and we're skeptical. And that's from Arthur C. Clarke. And the other one I have that I think is funny is, quote, is, millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do. And that's from J.P. Morgan. Now tonight, we're slipping into the past everyday world and drifting into one of the oldest maps humans ever used to figure out who we are: the sky. And tonight, we're talking about astrology. Not the TikTok kind, not the guess my sign kind, but the real living language of the universe. So take a breath and let's look up together. Astrology is ancient. It's older than most belief systems we practice today. It's not about predicting the future like some sort of crystal ball cliche. It's about recognizing patterns that show up over and over. It's like the seasons of your life. The planets don't control us. They reflect us like a mirror held up to your spirit. Think of astrology as the universe gently tapping on your shoulder and saying, hey, have you noticed this yet? Now let's talk about first about your star chart and the big three that everyone should know. And that is your sun sign, that's your core, your drive, your I am. It's the fire in your chest that keeps you going. You have your moon sign, is your emotional world, your inner child, the real you, the you that comes out when it's quiet and no one is watching. If the moon whispers, the sun shouts. Also, you need to know is your rising sign. This is the mask, the face that you show the world. It's how people first read your energy. It's how you filter out and use your way to understand new experiences. If you put all three together, that's your cosmic fingerprint. Each planet is a character in the story. Mars is your fire, your drive, your fight. Venus is how you love and what you're drawn to. Mercury is the voice in your mind. Jupiter brings growth and blessings. And Saturn brings lessons, structure. These planets aren't random dots in the sky. They're guides that travel with you from the moment you were born. Your birth chart is basically a snapshot of the universe's energy the moment you took your first breath. If the planets are characters, the houses are the rooms they live in. and the signs are their personalities. So if the houses are the rooms they live in, each house rules a different part of your life, from your identity to your relationships and the magic and your shadow. So let's explore the houses. The first house, the house of self. This is you at your core. It's your identity, your first impressions, and how the world sees you. You have your second house, is about money, self-worth, and resources. What you value physically and spiritually. Your income, your possessions, your self-esteem, and your relationship with abundance. This house shows how you could build stability to earn what you need. The third house is about communication and thinking, the mind and the voice, your conversations, learning and study, writing and teaching. This is how you speak your truth into the world. The fourth house is home, roots, and ancestry. This is your foundation, your family, your upbringing, your emotional security, and your home life. This is the house that holds the ancestral line behind you. In the fifth house, we have pleasure, creativity, and romance. It's your joy and expression, your art, your hobbies, dating and romance, and children. This is the house of fun and passion, the house of your inner child. Up next, the sixth house is about daily work, health, and routines. Not career, but the labor of your everyday life, your daily habits, your health and wellness. It's how you care for your body and space. This is the house of the mundane magic. In the seventh house, we have partnership. It's all one-on-one relationships, like romantic partners, spouses, business partners, contracts. It shows the mirror other people hold up to you. The eighth house is about death, sex, magic, and transformation. This house is the deep and powerful. It's about intimacy, shared resources, and transformation and shadow work, death and rebirth. This house rules alchemy, the turning of oneself into another. In the ninth house, we have wisdom, belief, and exploration. The seeker's house of higher education, philosophy and religion, and spirituality, where we chase the truth and meaning. And the 10th house is about career, legacy, and public life. Your place in the world, your career, your reputation, and your life purpose. It's what you're remembered for. This house shows the mark you leave behind. And the 11th house is about community and future vision. The house of the collective, friends, groups, social networks. The future that you are building. It's the connection to the greater tribe. And the 12th house is about the unseen spirit and shadow. This house is beyond the veil. It's about mysticism, dreams, past lives, hidden fears, and subconscious patterns. It holds with the spiritual and magical secrets. And here your soul whispers. Now, if the planets are the actors, the signs are the costumes. Houses are the stages they perform on. And how it works is that if any of the planets fall into those houses, that's how you read that. Astrology, it can get really juicy when you understand not what planet you have, but where it's hanging out. A planet in the wrong room is chaotic, but a planet in the right room is straight up magic. As witches and spiritual folk, we don't just study astrology, we work with it. We cast spells, with moon phases. We follow planetary days. Venus for love, Mars for courage, Mercury for communication. Some witches do rituals under their moon sign to supercharge their intentions. Some wait for Venus to return or for their birth placement on the cosmic clock. It's our reminder that the universe is always in conversation with us. The planets are always moving, and so is the energy around us. It's kind of like the weather. It doesn't dictate your life, but it definitely sets the mood. Mercury retrograde, eclipses, portals, endings and beginnings, electric shifts. And we have to reclaim and rewrite that story. When you understand the cosmic weather of life, it makes much more sense. You don't need to be an astrologer to use astrology. You check the moon sign in the morning and notice what planet rules your rising sign. And journaling during big transits. Charge your crystals under the right moon and match your spells to the planetary vibe. Let astrology be a quiet companion, a whisper that guides your choices. Astrology isn't about fate. It's about learning the language of the cosmos so you can recognize yourself in it. Because you're not separate from the universe. We're all made out of the same star stuff. You're part of some ancient story. The sky has always been and always known your name. Okay, now I want to talk about the 13th zodiac sign. And I'm going to pronounce his name wrong because it's spelled weird. But it's Ophiuchus. Now, Ophiuchus is the 13th zodiac sign. Now, first, let's clear up the big confusion. It is a real constellation in the night sky. But astrology and astronomy are not the same thing. Astronomy is the science of space, the stars and the planets as they physically exist. But astrology is a symbolic system, the wheel, divided into 12 parts, and based on the seasons and the sun's journey, not on how many constellations sit into the sky. So even though astronomers point out that the sun does pass through Ophiuchus, astrology was never designed to include it, and adding to it would break the entire balance of the system. But magically, or spiritually, even archetypically, Ophiuchus is fascinating. Now, the name Ophiuchus means serpent bearer. In Greek mythology, this constellation is linked to Asphilius. He was a great healer. The story says he learned the secrets of immortality by watching a snake shed its skin and be born anew. The power grew so great that he could even raise the dead, and that upset the order of the universe. So Zeus struck him down with a lightning bolt, not out of cruelty, but to protect the balance between life and death. But Zeus also honored him. He placed Ophiuchus among the stars, the healer between the worlds. So, if Ophiuchus is the archetype that carries energies like the alchemist, the healer, the keeper of the hidden knowledge, the one who walks the boundary between death and rebirth, it's very powerful witchcraft imagery. The medicine person who knows the shadow, the mysteries, and the transformations that others cannot see. Now, Western astrology is based on a solar year, 12 equal slices on the seasonal cycle. It's not based on the number of constellations in the sky. There are actually 13 constellations on the ecliptic, but the zodiac is the seasonal wheel, not a star count. So Ophiuchus was removed. It was just never meant to be part of the system. Now, if Ophiuchus could be inserted into the zodiac, it would be in between Scorpio, the witch, the shadow worker, and Sagittarius, the philosopher and the seeker. So Ophiuchus would become a bridge, death and rebirth, mystery, revelation, shadow and wisdom magic, and enlightenment. Modern astrologers like to play with the idea and describe Ophiuchus energy as transformative, intuitive, and healing. It's deeply connected to the unseen on the shadow side. It focuses on balance, but it also takes this snake priestess, this death witch, a shadow healer territory. The serpent symbolism is ancient and universal. Shed your skin, transformation. Venom is both medicine and poison. And living underground. The wisdom of death and rebirth. It also reminds me of serpent energy, like the rising of the Kundalini energy. So when witches connect with Ophiuchus, they're often tapping into, we have herbal healing, shadow work, and shamanic death journeys. We have ancestral healing and rebirth, and energy work and rising of the serpent power. Now, some witches often observe the sun's actual time in Ophiuchus around November 29th to December 17th. And it's a season of cutting away the old and transforming the self. And also doing psychological healing. Stepping into a new phase of identity. So, at the heart of it, Ophiuchus isn't real in astronomy. It's not part of Western astrology. But because the zodiac is a symbolic 12-parted system, aligned with the seasonal cycle. But spiritually, Ophiuchus is a powerful, potent archetypical magic. The healer, the alchemist, the serpent bearer. He's also a walker between the worlds. And if this energy feels like it calls to you, then yes, you can absolutely work with this kind of magic and bring that kind of healing into your craft. Now, I like to go back and, like I was saying with that one, I believe it's a real zodiac sign in the sky, but it doesn't fit into the cosmology of the 12 months of the zodiac. So when they're trying to add it, it just didn't fit right. So we leave it the way it is with the 12 zodiacs. But I feel like Western zodiac and Chinese zodiac are different. And I believe that the ancients, they had 13 moons in a year, and that they had 13 zodiac signs. Now, we might do Chinese zodiac in another episode, because it is kind of deep how it works like that, how they have 13 moons. So they have 13 zodiac signs. I'm trying to figure it out and try to bring it back into witchcraft. But I believe that the ancients have been looking at the sky since the beginning of time and looking out and mapping it out, and it has to be important, because why else would they spend all that time and spend all that energy, making these ziggurats and these pyramids, making these huge temples that have, are impossible to remake now, but we're making these huge temples and aligning them to the element, to the the points in this north, south, east, west, and the cardinal points, and also matching them up to the stars in the sky. There has to be a reason. There has to be some reason why it was so important for them to go through all that trouble to map out these stars. And so what's going on here And also interesting to know about how there's kind of two different types of astrology. There's the old astrology, like the old world astrology. There's a point from the Dark Ages where people didn't know about we didn't talk tonight about the two planets that you cannot see without a telescope. You cannot see these planets with the naked eye. And those are Uranus, Neptune, and of course Pluto, if you count Pluto as a planet. And so, in the old world, the old astrology, they only had 7 planets. It stopped at Saturn. And so they only wrote all that astrology with the 7 planets. Now, I forget what time period, but when they found Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto with a telescope, with the invention of the telescope, they added astrology and they changed it and they made it into what we have today. So it's interesting to note how it could change. But if you're into astrology, go ahead and play with it. Look it up. Look up your star chart, your birth chart, and look and see what it says about you. And sometimes, like for me, when I read my star chart, I was like, wow, that's exactly me, exactly everything about me, perfectly laid out. So it gave me a big help in my life, helping me through my life. As I read it, I use it. And so learn your star chart, and let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this in the comments? Let me know what you guys think about this Ophiuchus and the 13th zodiac. If it would affect you, do you guys think that he's a good a good god to work with that kind of energy that I was talking about? But let me know your stories about astrology, and we're going to keep on going on. But we're running out of time tonight. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to the Temple of the Owl. I release the spirit of the owl. Thank you for listening on KUAP, Digital Broadcasting, the Troubled Minds Radio Network. Blessed be. Have a good night.